Hello friends, and welcome to Autumn Cottage Diarist Out and About. I've brought you today to one of the places that makes me most happy. This is the Sir Harold Hillier Gardens and Arboretum. I'm going to take you in and show you around, and I hope you just enjoy the beauty of the gardens as much as I do. They've actually got the banners out for us. Look at all this lovely bunting. And off we go. One of the reasons I like coming to these gardens is because it's so full of so many different corners which give you inspiration for your own, probably rather smaller garden. This is just such a good idea, so I'm going to show you lots of little corners, see if there's something useful that you can take away. This shows just what a lot of damage the very hot temperatures, and more to the point the winds, have done to a lot of gardens recently. We've had a few days rain, and I think there's more forecast, so let's hope that we won't see too much more of this. Something's made a little hole for itself down there, quite a big hole actually, about 5 inches across, underneath the bamboo. Interesting way of covering some old tree stumps. They've grown clematis up the trees here. Quite spectacular effect. But most of them have actually flowered and gone, so we won't be seeing those this year. And the children's playground behind it is at the moment empty. Some of the good ideas that you can pick up here are the colour combinations, which can be used anywhere in very small gardens as well as big ones. As an arboretum, Hillier's has got some really wonderful trees and some very interesting bark. One of the things that can make a great deal of difference in a garden, even in the winter when there's no colour around. It's one of the birches. The atmosphere here is very strange. I've just been talking to Alec and we both agree that there's a sense of sadness here, a sense of not quite abandonment, but certainly emptiness. I suppose that's bound to happen with restricted numbers, but nevertheless it's tangible. These seats haven't been sat upon for a very long while. Big bank here of the same Phlomis that's in Autumn Cottage Garden, Phlomis fruticosa. We're being good citizens and following the one-way route. Not difficult to maintain the 2-metre rule because we're hardly seeing anybody as we go around. This is the winter garden, which is very interesting and spectacular in the winter. And in the summer we normally have a big art exhibition here called Art in the Garden. It's on every year, but of course not this year. So it's a very green and pleasant space, but not one we're used to seeing. Some very important people over there, the gardeners that are keeping this place under control. Not an easy job at the moment. Some very, very early flowering cotinus here. Not the sort of thing I'd normally expect to see until much later in the summer. Right, we're walking now down to the pond in the lower part of the gardens. But as we walk down, we always pass this really spectacular eucalyptus. Beautiful bark, which I'm afraid has had to be cordoned off because people had a propensity for carving their name on it, which is a great pity. But it's pristine now, and much the better for it. Whole bank of hardy geraniums here. I know some friends of mine are particularly fond of hardy geraniums, aren't you, Boyd and Harold? So when you come to the UK, we'll have to show you these. I'm not wrong, I think this is Geranium endresi. Very pretty little pink flowers. Really beautiful cornus here, cornus cusa. Those, I was going to say flowers, but I think they're bracts. Actually, I think the flower is just a tiny little bit in the centre. Combination here of Phlomis, the grey-leaved Phlomis, and the cotinus. One has to feed the body as well as the soul. I can think of worse places to sit to do it. In the background, this is what I've been listening to while I'm eating my lunch. The overflow from the lake, which is just up here. I'll take you around at the back just to show you some of the Nipophias, the red hot pokers, and we'll take a little walk to the top. Spectacular gunnera, which are always a feature in this garden this time of the year. And there's a rather lovely dragonfly sculpture, which hasn't been tidied up, so it's still covered in the leaves from the winter, hovering over the flowering lilies on the lake. Another very simple idea for holding back plants that might go floppy, just a little trellis of hazel twigs. But hazel being what it is, it's rather amusing to see that it's already sprouting. Nevertheless, it does the job. It looks very nice. Very, very easy to do. Another one of my favourite plants, this is Fatsia japonica. Looks terrifically tropical and is in fact as hardy as old boots. Got it in several places in the garden. Extremely easy to grow. Just likes the shade. Too much sun and it will turn yellow. But really a very versatile plant. At last reaching one of the more colourful parts of the garden here in the Himalayan borders. Another little stream. You might have noticed I quite like streams and water. But here's a very colourful carex as well, and a lot of primulas up the side of the border. Very vigorous banana plants shooting up there. Primulas all around. Beautiful colour. Two lovely sounds, running water and children's voices. Going up now to the Gurkha Memorial. The Gurkha regiment has had a very close relationship with Winchester, and the gardens here are only a stone's throw from Winchester, just outside Romsey. Actually, I'll put a link to the garden website in the description below. But every year there's a celebration here. Unfortunately, not this year. Some beautiful azaleas over there, still in bloom. Very much in place in the Himalayan garden. There's a little bit of the gardens that I find very inspiring. This is the rock garden, which always has something of interest in it, and it also shows you what you can do with very tiny areas. Just look at this. A lot of it's gone over now, actually, the flowering, but look at that. Just a few slabs and a little bit of gravel, and this is quite a big area, but you could just take one tiny little corner of this and make it your own. Just a few feet. Lots of sempervivums up there, which will live on practically nothing. There's some lovely dioramas up there, angels fishing rods. Take you and give you a little panorama around. I was going to apologise for all the noise that's here. There's a lot of building work going on at the moment while things are locked down in parts of the garden, but one thing I'm not going to apologise for is the sound of children having a wonderful time. because they are all here discovering the pleasures of a garden, and who would want to deny them that? I certainly wouldn't. Lovely little campanula Russeliana here. This is the wall bellflower. I've actually got some growing down by the pond, but you can see that it's really at home on the edge of a stone wall. And hands up who doesn't like a stone wall in their garden. All the things you can do with it. I think this is some form of a Origeron. Little daisy. One thing I love about the gardens is the way that you can go through little archways and find lots of treasures around a corner. I think that's what a lot of us like about gardens in general, isn't it? And why we all try to find several places of interest when we walk around rather than just one. They may be very tiny little places of interest, but it is doable. And this is a place that inspires me to do it. That's quite a sock you in the eye colour combination. But funnily enough, it works. Along with the ground flowering plants, all these beautiful conifers, which really do give interest at every time and every part of the year. Look at the colour. Those beautiful golds, the cupressus at the end there. A new little planting there, little pinus, so we're not allowed to go in there. I'm just going to give you an idea of what colour you can get without the slightest sign of a flowering plant at all. Let's go over there. We'll have to just go around the corner. I can't see a single flower. Oh, there are just a few there, but look at the colour. Doesn't depend on the flower, does it? Conifers for every time of the year and every part of the garden, I think. You can always find one that will fit in somewhere. And this is the man that started it all. A rather lovely sculpture of Sir Harold Hillier, who founded the original arboretum here. Thank you, Sir Harold, for giving us so much pleasure and passing all this on to the community. Quite a legacy. This is the last part of the garden for today. I think we're going to take a walk along the very long centenary border, which is really quite spectacular and does have something in it of interest every part of the year. One of my most favourite places in the garden. I call this the Japanese Pavilion. It's a little place for people to sit halfway around the centenary border. Such a place of peace and tranquility. And when it's surrounded by roses like this, it really is pretty special. Sit inside for a minute. A meadow outside. Grasses all around, which rustle in the breeze. And just a very simple pavilion where you can sit and think. Just sit here as long as you want. Press pause for as long as you want. And join me again when you're ready. How's this for a colour combination? On the walls of your bedroom it would be utterly vulgar, but here in nature it just works. Beautiful Geraniums here, very popular with the bees. This is the Peony Collection here at Hilliers. Again, I'm afraid, like everything else, it's been affected by the heat and the wind, and these have gone over a lot quicker than they usually do. There are still some beauties here, but they've really been hit both by the heat. Also, there's one that's bald there, which is usually an effect you get on roses when they get caught as they're opening in heavy rain. That's what they should look like. Thank you, Hilliers, for making the effort to open the gardens for us so that we can enjoy the pleasure of walking around again.